afternoon to all of you. Today is our next lecture. Our chapter is transpiration, and in this part we are learn about the structure of stomata and pathway of stomatal transpiration. First of all, let us see what is the transpiration. As we know, transpiration is nothing but the loss of water in vapor form from the aerial part of the plant, and that is known as the transpiration. The water which is present in the plant body when the atmospheric temperature is increases, due to increase in the atmospheric temperature, the water which is present into the plant body that are converted into the vapor form, and that vaporized water comes through the intercellular spaces toward the stomata, and through stomata it is evaporate into the atmosphere. That process is known as the transpiration, as we see in the last lecture. But that vapor evaporate through the stomata. Then what is meant by stomata? Stomata are nothing but the minute or small pores or openings which are present in the epidermis of the leaf. As we know, when we take an internal section of a leaf, in that internal section, the outermost layer is nothing but the epidermis, and in between that epidermis, small pore or small openings are there, and that small pore or opening is nothing but the stomata. Let us see the structure of stomata, how it is shown. Here in this diagram, the stomata is nothing but a small pore, but it also having another cells also, and that cells are nothing but the, first of all, these two cells are nothing but the guard cell, and to protect this guard cell, this outermost cell that are nothing but the subsidiary cell. Okay, two main parts are here centrally located pore, this is the guard cell, and this surrounding cell is nothing but the subsidiary cell, and the combination of this is nothing but the stomata, and this is the pore or stomatal opening is shown here. This is the structure of stomata. In this way, stomata is nothing but the minute pore or opening which are present in the epidermis of the leaf. Each stomata that is consist of the elliptical or crescent shaped pore. See here, this is the elliptical or crescent cell pore is there. Okay, and by it is due to only two cells, and that cells are nothing but the guard cell. Okay, these two cells are nothing but the guard cell. This is the first guard cell, this is the second guard cell. These are the two guard cell. But let us see here the shape of the guard cell. The shape of guard cell is kidney shaped. It is bean or kidney shaped, but it is in dicot only. Kidney shaped stomata or kidney shaped guard cell, it is present into the dicot plant, and in monocot plant it is dumbbell shaped. Okay, these are the two stomatas present in monocot and in dicot. Each guard cell contain a nucleus. Let us see here in red color, it is a nucleus, it is centrally located. Here one nucleus, in another guard cell there is another nucleus, and here in the guard cell the chloroplast is the present, and it is a lining layer 1, 2, 3, 4, and likewise these are the other chloroplast, and they are in a lining layer of the cytoplasm. Then what is meant by cytoplasm? Cytoplasm, it is present into the guard cell, and that cytoplasm is nothing but the liquid present into the guard cell. It is liquid or matrix which is present into the guard cell, and that matrix is nothing but it is known as the cytoplasm. Okay, and there is presence of a cavity, and it is also known at a center, and that cavity is known as the vacuole. Okay, and in this way, this is about the guard cell. Here they contain a large amount of the protoplasm also, and then they are the neighboring epidermal cell. In the guard cell also protoplasm is there, and here the inner wall of the guard cell. Let us see, this is the inner wall. Here in the stomata, this is the inner wall, and this is the outer wall. This inner wall of the guard cell, it is thicker and non-elastic. That means it is somewhat rigid. It is non-elastic, and the outermost cell, that is elastic. Okay, the outermost cell of the guard cell is elastic, and innermost cell, it is the non-elastic and thicker, and due to that only after the endoosmosis the stomata are open, and at the time of exoosmosis stomata are closed only due to the thickness of this inner wall, thickness and non-elasticity of this innermost wall. Okay, and for protecting this guard cell there is presence of these are the subsidiary cell. These subsidiary cell are surrounded to the guard cell, and the main function of this subsidiary cell is protection of the guard cell. Okay, in this way, this is the structure of stomata. What is in that? First one, these are the bean shaped or kidney shaped guard cell. In the guard cell there is presence of nucleus, then chloroplast, then vacuole, cytoplasm, protoplasm. Okay, and around the guard cell there is presence of the subsidiary cell. This is the structure of the stomata. Let us see next point. Here in the next point, the pathway of stomatal transpiration. What is the pathway, or how the water can be evaporated through the stomata? What is the pathway of stomatal transpiration? Let us see here. The mechanism of stomatal transpiration takes place in two steps, namely, first one is osmotic diffusion of water into the mesophyll tissue of the leaf. This is the first point, or this is the first part. This is the first mechanism, osmotic diffusion. What is meant by osmotic diffusion? Osmotic diffusion is nothing but the diffusion takes place in a living cell, or diffusion takes place by the osmosis or due to the osmotic pressure. When osmosis takes place, when there is presence of a semi-permeable membrane, at that time only osmosis is done there. So osmotic diffusion of water into the mesophyll tissue of the leaf, that is the first step. And second one is the diffusion of water vapor from intercellular spaces to the outer atmosphere through the stomata. These are the two steps, or two ways through the water vapor can be transpired into the atmosphere. Okay, let us see one by one. First one is the osmotic diffusion of water into the mesophyll tissue of the leaf. This is the diagram of the leaf, section of the leaf. This is the outermost layer, epidermis. On the epidermis there is presence of cuticle. Okay, this is the cuticle. Beneath that epidermis, beneath the epidermis there is presence of this is the elongated cell, and that is the palisade tissue. Okay, this cell is nothing but the palisade tissue. Beneath palisade tissue, loosely arranged cell is shown here, and this loosely arranged cell is the spongy tissue. Here In the loosely arranged cell, there is presence of the gaps or openings or vacuole, or that is known as the intercellular spaces. Okay. Here it is the central part, and it is nothing but the part of vascular tissue. That is nothing but the xylem. Here shown the xylem, and the phloem is here. Okay, xylem and phloem. Let us see. This is the phloem, and these three dots, they are nothing but the xylem. Okay, this is the central part. Beneath that, again spongy tissue, and at the lower side of the epidermis, this is the upper epidermis, this is the lower epidermis. In the lower epidermis, mostly in most of the plant, at the or in the lower epidermis, the stomatal pore is present. Let us see here the stomatal pore. This is the pore, and this is the intercellular space. Okay, this is two guard cells are. This is the stomata. This whole part is the stomata, and this is the pore, and that is the stomatal pore. These two are the guard cell, and this is the lower epidermis here. Okay, this, and again here is the another stomata. These are the air cavity or air spaces are there. Okay, then let us see in which way the transpiration can be takes place. Here, due to the osmotic diffusion of water into the mesophyll cell. These are the mesophyll cell. What is meant by mesophyll cell? Mesophyll cell is nothing but it is the combination of the palisade tissue and spongy tissue. They both are combinedly known as the mesophyll tissue. Okay. Here, then how they can be transpirate? Here, when temperature is increases into the leaf. Okay, at that time the water which is present into the palisade tissue or spongy tissue, that water is converted into the vapor form. That vaporized water, it comes into the air cavities due to the osmotic diffusion. Here osmotic diffusion, osmosis, that means the movement of molecule from higher concentration to the lower concentration through semi-permeable membrane. Here each cell having the semi-permeable membrane. Okay, and due to the osmotic pressure, the vaporized water which is present into the cell, comes through the semi-permeable membrane of the cell into this cavity. Okay, from this cavity, the water vapor comes toward the stomata. Okay, and through stomata, this vaporized water comes out of the atmosphere, and in this way the water vapors comes into the atmosphere. But it is the another part. In this part only how the osmotic pressure are developed into the cell, and due to that osmotic pressure, the water which is present into the cell, comes out of the cell, and that is only due to the osmotic pressure or osmotic diffusion. Okay, next one is the diffusion of water vapor from intercellular spaces to the outer atmosphere through the stomata. As we say that the vaporized water comes into the intercellular spaces, through intercellular spaces it comes toward the stomata, and through stomata, when stomata is open, through that stomata, that vaporized water comes into the atmosphere. Okay, in this way the water which is present into the cell, comes into the atmosphere, and that process is known as the transpiration, and that is the path of transpiration. In this way, in this part we will learn about the structure of stomata and the path of stomatal transpiration. So I think you are understand everything. Thank you very much.